Welcome to Custom Made in New York podcast, reminding women of their worth 1 week at a time. This show is dedicated to all women, custom made especially to win. I'm your host, Raven Joseph. Welcome back to Custom Made in New York. I'm your host, Raven Joseph, and today I have the pleasure of interviewing Anike Rabiu, world-traveling hairstylist and licensed cosmetologist. Today, Anike is going to share with us her story. So welcome to the show, Anike. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Raven, for having me.
Would you like to introduce yourself to the audience?
Well, my name is Anike Rabiu. I was born in Lagos, Nigeria. And we came to the States when I was about 4 years old and landed in Virginia. We came to New York when I was 12. And so you could say I'm kind of like a New Yorker. Mm-hmm. Even though I lived in Europe for a while, I lived in Germany and then moved back to New York full time about like 12 years ago.
Okay.
And then that's when my hairstyling career kind of started taking its turn.
So you've been in the hair beauty industry or hair for the last 12 years?
Well, no, for the past 7 years.
7 years.
Yeah, I was living in Germany and then came back to New York. And then when I moved back to New York, I wanted to open up some nail salons in Harlem because, there was this brand that I was managing and I liked the aesthetic of the salon, the nail salon, and thought that it would be great to have something like that here in Harlem. But then,
so how did you get to here?
Oh my God! So, so I signed up for the wrong program. For what I thought that I signed up for the wrong program, but it was just destiny pushing me in the right direction. I signed up for nail technician, not knowing that I wanted to do nail technician just to learn about the nail industry. But it was actually cosmetology that I signed up for. And then by the time I realized they'd already taken my money.
I know how that is.
Yeah. So I was like, man, listen, I could have done something else. What I thought I really wanted to do with the money. But then I had this bag because I never really did hair. I never had any interest in hair whatsoever. But I had this big old bag full of like blow dryer, all these different sorts of brushes and coloring kits and stuff. And I was like, okay, let me see how this goes and learn about hygiene and sanitation and like the science of hair. And I was just completely, I was completely hooked by then. Once I touched hair, it was like something like the heavens just opened up.
When it feels right, it feels right. Yeah. So did you have any mentors in your experience when you were coming up in the hair industry?
Lacey Redway was Lacey Redway and Jeannie Saifu. I actually met Jeannie Saifu before I met Lacey. Mm-hmm. I met Lacey through Jeannie Saifu, and Lacey she still is actually. She's been a mentor. Learning from her and watching her work on set when I first started helped me understand like the dynamic and how to deal with folks. And professionally, of course, she taught me some skills and how to do things better. And she's just phenomenal. And then also with many of the other artists that I've assisted, like Michael Silva, he taught me to not take myself seriously. And Keith Carpenter just taught me the fabulous aspect of the industry. And Lizzie Arneson, she's just so cool and so chill. I've just been grateful to have learned an aspect of myself through them.
Awesome. You are in editorial. What does that look like? What is that?
Well, editorial is more like storytelling. It's more like creating like a whole story. So when you look at a magazine, magazines usually have editorials and advertising. Advertising is to get you to spend your money, and the editorial is more of a story on how you should spend your money because, you see someone in this story, and it's like, oh my God, I resonate with this person, or this look is great, and it kind of like propels you to want to spend money. It's still advertising, but more of a storytelling aspect of it.
Awesome. So I loved your photos of the rollers and flexi rods. I really it touched me. It resonated with me. Tell me the story behind that.
Well, the whole thing, I've been pitching this story for a while, just to like get a team together. So it just, the people that I originally, I had a list, and I was like, oh my God, I think this person would be great with it. But, everyone just kind of was either too busy or just wasn't interested in the project. And then I met Brianna in between that, like after that period, and she was like, yes. And then Natalie was like, yes. And it finally went to fruition. But the whole concept of it was just like, because rollers, we have an idea of rollers. My next thing is going to be, oh my God, bonnets. Because
cool. I just wore one last night for the first time in how many months?
It's so funny because it's like these things that we all use. And, I see them as a form of, like getting ready, and there's a history behind it, when I was younger, and my sisters also, my older sisters, I'd watch them as they get their hair roller set, and I'd be like, oh my God, I want my hair like that. My mom was like, no girl, you gotta get those, and it was just something very feminine about it, and feminine, and then it was like a transformation, Yeah. So for that, it was just like, oh my God, it's so cute. I know you, and that hair rollers. Oh my God, so awesome. So yeah, and it's the culture. We all had sleepless nights with hair rollers.
You're so right. When we didn't have hair rollers, though, my mom used to use brown paper bags. Like that's what it was.
I do that on set sometimes with like paper towels.
Mm-hmm. And my mom used to do the same thing. Yeah. Got to make it happen. I got to try the straws. That sounds really interesting.
Especially if you have heat damage in your hair and you want to like revitalize your curls. If you just get some straws, I know plastic straws, so you can recycle them and use them again.
Okay.
And put a little bit of mousse, a little setting, whatever you use to set your hair, roll it in a little in the straw, put the ends together, and go about your business, and then take it out. It's about 5 to 10 minutes.
It sounds. I might try that and send you some pics later.
Yes,
let you know how it goes. So, what inspires your techniques, your style?
What inspires me? Well, I generally like hair that's kind of like carefree and like organic. I personally don't. I lean away towards more like laid hair because I feel like for me in my aesthetic that it's not real. It's kind of like it's constricting. Like you can't move if the wind blows and oh my God, I have flyaways. I find them to be very, there's a certain effortlessness that's very beautiful and very kind of like polished at the same time. But with our hair texture, you got to be very careful with that too.
Yeah. Do you find yourself working with a lot of women who have natural hair or women of color?
It's in the beginning of my career, no, I wasn't working with a lot of models of colors, but now I have. Even when I was doing mainly tests, I wasn't really testing with a lot of models of colors, only because, no one knew me. So if a photographer wanted to work with me, it was based on their idea of their, what they wanted to shoot. But then as I became more confident in my own skills and knew about like lighting, proportions, and all the other stuff that's very important to know in creating an image, I was like, oh my God, okay. This girl would look so much flyer in this story that you want to tell, because, we have this extra magic about us. Let's be honest.
Yes, I agree. You see my face smiling because I know.
About about us. So it's like, so then I would be like, oh my God, I think this person would be great. And then, they're like, oh wow, she's beautiful. Oh, I love her hair. I'm like, let's do it. So yeah, so that's how I started working more with models of color, with different textures as my career progressed.
So what gave you that confidence to say, not really take direction from other people in terms of what styles you did, but saying, I'm Anike and this is what I'm doing?
It comes with experience. It comes with even knowing, knowing what my ministry is and knowing what I'm capable of doing, or how I want to push myself. Like, you just can't go on a test and just like start creating things that you've never really created before, because then if it doesn't come out right, then you've wasted the team's time. It's not all about what I want to do. It has to be like a collaborative effort. So I practiced a lot at home on my dollies.
I still have my childhood dolly from my godmother. She laughs at me every time I send her a picture of it. I love my dollies, yes.
Whenever you have an inspiration or you see something, it's like, oh, wow, okay, let me try this, or let me, and then you feel confident. You feel much more confident to try to apply those things on set. However, once the framework is developed, then I do like a lot of last minute things on set. Like, I'm always running on set, like, oh my God, like because it depends on which way the model is standing, where the light is coming from, the outfit. And it's like, I see the picture on set while the model is doing it. And then I might say, oh, wait, let's comb her hair the other way. Or, oh, wait, let's push the hair back.
Okay.
It's kind of organic.
That sounds exciting to be like, all right, on the fly, like, let's do this. Let's make this happen. Do you feel at all that your heritage has anything to do with how you style or how you do hair?
It's so funny because initially I was, because my background, because since we came to the States when I was 4, so most of my schooling and everything was here in the States. But then at home it was very, it was a traditional Nigerian household. Like, honey, I had to, kneel. It was very. Yeah. But then it was kind of like, for me, it was a bit confusing growing up, because it was like, oh, why can't I have a sleepover or something like that? Sleepover.
What'd your mom say?
You have a bed at home. Right. Why are you sleep at somebody else's house?
That sounds so much like my mom. I could not spend the night at other people's houses.
Yeah, so it was kind of like, it was like a confusion for me, up until maybe like after college. Even college, it was like, oh my God, look, I didn't know so much about like the Black culture, like until college, so I was like, wow, okay, but I still have the Nigerian flavor in me. But then growing up in America, it was kind of like, how do I balance the two? And living in Europe and having a lot of European friends, it just was kind of like, wait, where do I fit in? So they kind of messed with my head a little bit. And then, once I became more knowledgeable of myself and who I am inside, and built a relationship with God and myself and all of that stuff, everything just worked beautifully. And that's how my work is so multicultural. And that's why I also work with many hair textures, because my experience is vast.
Awesome. Do you want to elaborate on how you came to finding yourself? Like, what are some things that you've done to work on yourself?
Well, I meditate a lot. Like, I meditate in a heartbeat. Like, whenever I feel like my spirit needs my attention, I'll just I'll close my eyes. Sometimes when I'm, if people don't know me, they'll just, we're in conversation and all of a sudden I just stop and close my eye. They're like, what's wrong with her? No, it's me like, okay, it's me reconnecting, be like, just being the observer and not just observing the situation without engaging. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because for me, it's like when I begin to engage too much into a situation, then disappointments come. Then, you know, all these other feelings come, you know, inviting themselves, and then I let them in, and then it's like, oh, okay, wait, no, I don't want that energy. That's not my energy, you know. So it's like, take a deep breath, center yourself. Okay, what's going on? And then, you know, God, you listen to God, and you listen to the birds, you listen to the leaves, the trees, because they're all talking to us. We just have to take that moment to listen. And once you listen and you hear with your with the other side, with the inside, then you know what it is that your next steps will be. So I learned that through, honey.
We got time.
I learned that through tears. I learned it through depression, slight depression. I learned it through bad relationships. I learned it through just like breaking down walls, and then I built a relationship based on being authentic. You know, based on how I feel inside, and you know, like the trees don't complain when the leaves turn brown. Then I'm like, oh my God, the leaves are brown now. Process, you know what I mean?
It's part of the process. Yeah.
Process, because after it's brown, then all these luscious green leaves, these new beautiful leaves to come back. You know what I mean? It's just the process of life. You just don't attach yourself to it. Just be like, okay, cool. Take a deep breath, see what the universe is trying to tell you, and move forward.
Would you say non-attachment is like what's your motto? Like, what's that thing that keeps you going? What's that thing that wakes you up in the morning and says, like, this is it. It's time to get to work?
That's exactly what it is. It just says, go. It's go. You know, go. Do it. That's it. And, you know, there's time, like, even through COVID, okay, I'm Nigerian and everything. I'm African, but my braiding skills was a little bit lacking. In the sense that, you know, I the way that I envisioned myself as a braider, because I'm African, so I'm supposed to be doing
no shade, yeah.
be like this and stuff. So I put that pressure on myself. But then during COVID, this was another kind of aha moment for me. It was I took my mannequin head out and I just started braiding, and it was just like so heavenly. You know what I mean? It just was like, it was like I was meditating. I mean, my parts weren't perfect and stuff, but it was okay. It still looked fly, you know, but it was just like a connection. And that's what I have with the hair, is a connection. Like, you could ask some models that have sat in my chair. It's like I give them a scalp massage before starting, because we need them as much as they need us to create this to create what it is that we're getting paid to do on set that day. So we all need to feel beautiful. We all need to feel valued. We all need to feel loved and treasured and everything. So I kind of like, you know, give them a scalp massage to get them, you know, centered, and then it's like, how you doing? You know, you ready?
You sure it's not to pull and make their scalp bleed?
No.
I'm kidding.
It's like, you know, sometimes they're like, ow, like, I didn't even touch you.
I'm so tender-headed, even when doing my own hair, so I can relate to them.
Yeah, we all just have to be gentle with one another and ourselves.
How do you see your spirituality in your everyday movement?
It might sound corny to other people, but, you know, it doesn't really matter to me. I'm like, you know, I love everybody. You know what I mean?
I feel that vibe from you. Like, you're such a genuine, good-hearted person.
It's, you know, it's like I wake up and my birds are chirping, or like, let me tell you, even during the right before 4th of July, when all that firework madness was going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm human. I wanted to throw water out my window, but that wouldn't have been it.
For me, it was eggs. So yeah, I feel you on that.
Auntie, what are you doing? You know? So I was like, you know what? It's all good. It's all good. And that's another motto of mine. It's like, it's all good, because everything always works for the good. So it's all good. So I just put on some sound bath, some sound bowl music, and just went to bed. It's like, they're having a good time out there, even though they're disturbing everyone.
They're
That's okay.
disturbing the birds. I was wondering, like, were the birds always here like that loud, or is it just because of the pandemic? Because I swear I hear them like when I'm meditating now. I don't know if it was because I wasn't paying attention or like now it's, out and about, but I love the sound of the birds. Like I really do. It's so soothing.
Yeah. It's also because your frequency is different. Like if you think of yourself pre-COVID and post-COVID, the frequency, even the frequency and everything is different now,
True. I'm a
it's
different woman.
it's a beautiful time. It's hard as hell. It seems hard. I'm not going to no, we're not going to speak hardness. We're speaking life. Right now, things seem a little bit jumbled, but just like a puzzle, once all those pieces come together, you see the beautiful picture. Right now, we're just in the middle. It's all good.
Yeah. So just switching a little bit to like the current events, has things that have been happening in the community for people of color, has that affected you in any way?
It affects me on so many levels. I go to FCB. I attend FCBC in Harlem, and I'm also part of the leadership. So we do a lot of we're always getting prayer requests, and in the community they're in need of support, emotional support, financial support. We all need support. But during the time of COVID, it became 10 times more. You know what I mean? People, loved ones dying and they can't be with them. Imagine that, so it was like, just talking and being in air is what we've been doing, and what I've been doing is it's just being there for people, however they need me to be.
That's so great. We are here to serve. That is so great. So where do you see yourself going from here?
Where do I see myself going? You know what? I see myself just being wherever God wants me to be. And that's where those mindful moments and those breaths come, because there's, prior to me, in my current season, in my walk with God and myself, I always planned. Everything was always planned to the second. Like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And then looking back, it never worked. It never worked. It never worked to the best of what it could have been. Because, I was pushing and pushing and pushing. This is just my story. Some people, that's what they need. That's the story that God has whispered into them. But for me, I can't, it just doesn't work. It's more of a moment by moment by moment thing. But I do feel it in my spirit that God wants me to be out there. How? I haven't, it hasn't been clear to me yet. But I know that God is training me into some role that I'm just not aware of yet. So so I'm just open, and I'm just available for what God has for me. With my career, I just want to continue doing hair. At some point, maybe I'll have like my own ad agency, because that's something that I've always wanted to have. It's like my own agency, brand management agency. And listen, wherever God wants me is where I'll be.
All right. What advice do you have to up and coming hairstylists?
The advice I will have for up and coming hairstylists would be, learn your craft, learn all hair textures, learn how to do all hair textures. The hair industry is so vast. There are working on, you can work on set, you can work with celebrities, you can, do something in corporate, you can do manufacturing, just figure out exactly where you want to be, or don't figure it out. Just understand that there is it's a big and it's a huge industry. So just be open, learn your craft, never stop learning, believe in yourself, have confidence.
So how can people get in contact with you, Anike?
Well, I'm on Instagram. I'm on Instagram often. My IG is my first and last name. And also my website is my first and last name. I'm not on Facebook that much, but it's there.
Okay. And your email address?
My email address, it's the best one would be info@AnikeRabiu, my first and last name.com.
Ah, okay. All right. Is there anything else that you would like to share?
Anything else I like to share? Well, I just want to encourage everyone to keep going, keep fighting the fight, because we are in a bit of a battle right now, a spiritual kind of a thing, but just keep going, keep fighting, keep shining light to the dark areas, shine light to those places, keep speaking truth to power, keep elevating yourself, your community, your loved one, keep teaching those that need to be taught, or help them see a new perspective, because the old way is not the new way anymore. The old way is not working anymore. Be true to yourself, love one another. And Amazon is trying to tell me something right now. But
a package delivered? I love those notifications.
But yeah. Just be who you want others, how you want others to feel around you. You know what I mean? Be a loving human being. Be caring. Don't worry too much, because worrying is not going to do anything. Worrying is not going to pay. Yeah. Worrying is going to cost you money, if anything. Yeah. So, just let it go. Just let it go.
Well, Anike, thank you so much for taking the time to have this conversation. It was so genuine, and I really appreciate your time. Make sure you tune in to Custom Made in New York next week and every Wednesday. Take care.